Okay, so today we're going to rebuild this cylinder. It's been leaking probably, well, the last 10 years I've been managing the farm. It's been a little trickle drip, and now it's pretty much a constant stream. So tired of buying fluid, tired of dealing with it, and the fix is only $45. So I've got the seals to rebuild this, and I watched the video on it. It don't look too hard. Up inside this slot is a pin that'll come out and release this cap. Now I do have to turn this cap in order to bring that pin out. That's what holds everything up and in. Before I get that far though, I need to take out this bolt here, which will allow this pin to come out and the end of the cylinder to come loose. And once we get that far, that's when we'll start working on this little pin that's in here. So first thing first, get this bolt out. I've taken the nut off the bolt. I've also laid a moving blanket under this cylinder. The goal is to catch most of the fluid in a bucket, but in the video I watched, when they pulled that shaft out, it kind of puked it everywhere. So I'm just trying to prepare for that, and this moving blanket ought to absorb up all the fluid. So now all I got to do is remove this bolt. I've stuck the nut to the bolt in the tractor, and see if we can get this pin out here, which will free up the cylinder. There we go. So there's the pin. Here's the bolt. We'll stick all that stuff in the tractor so it's all together. Right here's the nut. So all that stuff's together. And here is our loose cylinder, which I was hoping would clear that a little better than it is. I don't have any of the hoses unhooked, so I guess what I'll do is start the tractor, tilt this part forward so I can bring this to this side of this plate and have it out here to work on. Alright, so I started the tractor, got the cylinder out here where I can move it around and work with it. The first thing I want to do is let some of this pressure off the cylinder. And to do that, I'm going to loosen the hose back here. Looks like it'd be this hose and this inner hose here that actually looks like it could use replaced, but it's not leaking yet. I'll just make a note that I need to replace that hose. For now, we're going to go ahead and loosen this up and take some of the pressure off this cylinder. So I've loosened the fitting, got some fluid draining into this pan. While that's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and take the pipe wrench, turn this a little bit, and start working this pin out of here. I won't lie to you, it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. It's a bunch of turning of this with the pipe wrench and the clockwise manner while you reach in there with a screwdriver and work out enough of this pin to grab. So for some reason or another, my camera stopped recording, and I want to finish what I was trying to say. You take a pipe wrench and you turn the cap in a clockwise manner. While you're turning the pipe wrench, you want to also be pushing on the handles of the vice grips in the same direction, helping to pull that pin out. Now, after I would get a couple inches of the pin out, I would loosen the vice grips and choke them back a little bit closer to the slot in the cylinder. That way I wasn't risking breaking off that pin. So there's the full pin in its entirety when you get it out of there. Now what I'm noticing is on the far end here, the end that they put in first, they've actually sharpened it to a point. And I guess that probably makes it easier to push it in and go around the cylinder. So I'll keep this for an example when I put in the new pin. What I need to do now is I'm going to take a pipe wrench, stick in here, and I'm going to take my dead blow hammer, hit downward on it, and hopefully pop this out. And this is where the mess is going to happen most likely, so stay tuned. It's real close to popping out of there. You know, it's one of those situations where you're anticipating the worst in each hit. You expect it to happen, but what I'm noticing is with each hit, this kind of pulls out, and then with the suction, it's wanting to pull back up and in. So what I did is I went and got me a screwdriver after this gap opened up, and I'm now hitting down on this edge with my dead blow hammer. Any second now, that's gonna clear. Fluid's gonna go everywhere. And looky there. Here comes the fluid. I'm gonna let it trickle out there nice and slow before I pull it out of there all the way. I don't want it to go everywhere if I can keep from making a mess. Oh, there it is. Now I just gotta get it out of there. And I'm still imagining that there's suction on it. See how it wants to pull back up in? So I'm gonna have to loosen this up here a little bit more. And I may have to loosen this other hose, but it's not as easy to get to. There she is. Once I disconnected or loosened, once I loosened this top hose here, it took off the suction wanting to pull this back up and in, and I was able to pull it right out. And here's the seals we've got to replace. There's some on here. There's some on here. And this piece has some internal seals. So what we've got to do now is get this nut off of here, clean it all up real good so I can take this in the house and redo the seals. Now the reason I'm taking it in the house, it's like 35 degrees. These seals will be a little bit more flexible in a warm environment. So I want to clean this up, take this nut off, take this piece and this piece inside where we'll do the seals. If you have a nice shop, and I have a vise in my shop, but it was just made sense to me. I have this spear set up on the tractor, so instead of mounting this in a vise to break this nut free, I slid the end on one of the spears, and then I took my pipe wrench here on the end with a piece of pipe, and now I've got this nut free. So now I can continue to take this off and slide off the pieces I need to rebuild. All right, so here's the package of seals that I purchased on eBay. Should have everything we need. Here's the pin that goes back in that I had to pull that holds this up and in the cylinder. So it looks like, looking at just this piece, we're going to use this seal, which has a metal wrap on it, and it looks like it goes right here on this end. Now looking down on the inside there,